Hello everyone and welcome to the last session in this quarter. This is going to be the last lesson and it's talking about homeostasis and cell processes. We have talked about the cell and the characters for the cells and the types, and specifically we go for the components of the eukaryotic cell, which is the animal cell and the plant cell. And then we talked about the function of each organelle inside the cell, and then we talked about the levels of cellular organization. And when I say levels, I say levels when we start from a cell, then a tissue, then an organ, and then an organ system until we reach the organism. We talked about all of these, and today we are going to continue on this. For the organism, or for you, even you, we all feel comfortable when we are surrounded with everything ideal, or when we are surrounded with the needed material. When we need food, we are surrounded by the food. When we need a specific temperature, we are surrounded by specific temperature. So we are perfect and comfortable when we are surrounded with the ideal conditions that we have. The cells are the same. They need to be surrounded with all the materials they need, with all the temperature, with a certain temperature they need to be in a stable state that's called homeostasis. So homeostasis is a balanced state, is a stable state that the cell need to be reached to be stable or to be comfortable. So homeostasis is a maintenance of constant internal state, or maintenance of a constant stable state in a changing environment. The cells has to ensure, or homeostasis, it's ensuring that the cell obtain and using energy. They are good, they are doing their function, they are exchanging, they are reproducing, they are eliminating waste. This is the homeostasis. Okay, the cells in your body, or even the cells in the plant, need the energy to be alive, to be able to survive. So all the cells need energy and materials in order to carry out the life process. The unicellular organism exchange the materials directly with the environment. They take in and take out what they need from the environment. And for the multicellular organism, they have a specific systems that transport the materials to the cell. Like in your body, in the human body, you have a system for transporting the blood, which is the circulatory system. We have artery and we have a vein that's transporting the materials to the cell, which is transporting the blood to the cell. The artery is coming out of the blood and it's transporting the blood, which is rich in oxygen and nutrients, to the cells. It's going to deliver the blood to the cells. And for the vein, it's delivering back the food that has no nutrients and it has a waste. It transported back to the blood. So we have a transport system inside the human body that's transporting the needed material to the cells. And also for the plant. For the plant, we have a transport system. We have a transport system that's called the xylem and the phloem. What's xylem and what's phloem? The xylem is a tube that it's just like an elevator that takes all the water and the nutrients from the underground, from the soil, and they are giving them to all the plant's parts. Specifically, they are delivering these nutrients and water to the leaves. And then when photosynthesis happens in the leaves and the food is synthesized in the leaves, the food is coming to other parts and it's going to be transported to other parts of the plant through the phloem vessel. So also we have a transport system in the plant. So all you have to know that we have transport system to transport the needed materials to the cell. In the human, we have artery and vein. In the plant, we have xylem and phloem. Okay? Okay. So the cells need energy to perform their function. And they can get the energy by breaking down the materials so they can get their energy. But for the plant, they cannot get energy except from the photosynthesis process. So what's the photosynthesis process? It's the process at which the plant can make his own food through getting sunlight and carbon dioxide and water. And together, the sunlight and the carbon dioxide and the water, they're going to form the glucose, which is the food or the thing that's going to supply the plants with energy. Okay? Okay. So as I told you that all the living things, they need food to produce energy. Animals and plants uses oxygen during the cellular respiration to produce energy from food. Okay. So this is how we release energy from the cellular respiration process. And I told you that cellular respiration process was taking place in the mitochondria. Don't forget this. This is how the mitochondria has the food enters and there's energy that comes out of it. So the food, which is glucose plus oxygen, is going to enter and energy is going to be released in the cellular respiration. Okay? The sugar and oxygen are converted into water and carbon dioxide. And energy is being produced as a result of this reaction. Okay? All the oxygen around us is made by photosynthesis process. And animals and plants use this oxygen during cellular respiration to break down the food and to give us the energy that we need. Okay. For the cell to grow, they have to divide. As I told you, in the levels of cellular organization, we start by one cell and we end by an organism. How this cell is going to develop a full organism? It has to grow and it has to divide into multiple cells. So this is the cell division. This is how the cell is going to grow, and then it's going to be divided into two identical cells. This division is called mitosis. So mitosis is the cell division that form two identical cells from one cell. And the DNA is copied in both cells. That's why they are going to be identical. We're going to have the DNA is the same. It's copied in both of the cells. It's called mitosis. Mitosis. Let's move to the next part, which is cell exchange. Exchanging the materials along the cell. I told you that we have the membrane, and through the membrane, we are exchanging the material in and out of the cell. The cell membranes are semi-permeable. What's the meaning of semi-permeable? Permeable is meaning to allow the movement of materials in and out. Semi means that it allows certain particles to move in and out of the cell. So again, semi-permeable is allowing a certain particles to move into and out of the cell. If the materials are moving into and out of the cell without the need of energy, this is called a passive transport. Passive transport, they don't need energy. And as in figure 2, there's no energy. And if there's an energy that's needed and it's required to move the materials in and out of the cell membrane, this is called active transport. So for the active, they need energy, and for the passive, they don't need energy to transport the materials along the membrane. So we have active transport, passive transport, and we have the fusion. What's the fusion? The fusion is the movement of molecules from high concentration to low concentration. And osmosis is the fusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane, also from a large concentration, from a high concentration to a low concentration. Okay, so osmosis, water diffusion, water molecules, and the fusion for the air molecules. The fusion and osmosis, they are the same, but they are depending on it's water and there's a semi-permeable membrane or there's no water. Osmosis happens when we have between the particles semi-permeable membrane, just like the cell membrane. So the particles is going to move from the high concentration to low concentration. The fusion, if we were talking more about the air, the gas, when we just make a spray or when we bomb a perfume in the air, the high concentration is going to go to the low concentration. This is air diffusion. This is air molecules is diffusing from high concentration to low concentration. Okay? Okay. How do the cells exchange materials? We talked about many ways, like osmosis, like diffusion, like active transport and passive transport. As I told you, for the active, it needs energy, but in the diffusion, it doesn't need energy. Okay, for the active transport, we have a process that's called endocytosis and exocytosis. And what's endo and what's exo? Endo means into the cell, and exo means out of the cell. This is the transportations of material into and out for the large particles. So this means that the large particles need energy, need active transport to be transported in or out of the cell. This is for the large particles. They cannot be transported without the mean of energy. But for the small, no, they can be transported through passive transport. There is no need for energy. Okay. So thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed the session.